been pleasantly surprised with the Village of Nutrition Solutions. The caliber of people that have come here that are very curious to find out, so what is available to solve our nutrition and food problems today and for tomorrow? And the kind of conversations I've been having around food culture have resonated deeply with a wide number of organizations. And to me, that signifies is that we all face a common challenge, and that we can address some of these challenges by thinking about value systems, belief systems, our norms, the way we eat together, the way we buy our foods, the way we prepare our foods. And those are powerful ideas that can unify a diverse set of stakeholders. We'll work on very different problems, perhaps, using very different solutions. But I have found this idea of culture really resonating with a lot of people. Yeah, the Food Culture Alliance really tries to highlight the role of culture in shaping consumer food preferences. Why are preferences important? Well, preferences define what we want, and that really drives a lot of consumer demand. So if we're serious about shaping consumer demand for nutritious and sustainable foods, we have to address preferences. And culture was this thing that was hiding in plain sight. At least I have used culture to design programs to make them more culturally appropriate and acceptable. But culture is shared. And when we're trying to develop systemic change, when we're trying to work at a very high level, it just felt like obvious, why aren't we using culture to address more systemic factors? And that's what the Food Culture Alliance aims to do, is equip national alliances with what they need to investigate and elucidate their own food culture, and then be able to deploy a food culture strategy. Yeah, so as you know, N4G was open to the public. And so trying to explain Food Culture Alliance to a lay audience, I had to come up with an activity. So we came up with 3 simple questions. And so the first question that we asked people is, if you had to pick 3 dishes to explain your cuisine to foreigners, what would these dishes be? Or what would these dishes look like? Or what would they be? And we had French visitors, of course, yesterday. So they talked about their main dishes. Then we asked them to think about, what do these dishes say about their food culture? And many of them talked about the connection, the seasonal, and the connection to the land, and just eating what is grown in the French countryside. And then the final question was, well, in 20 years, if we look forward to 20 years from now, what would these dishes be? And many of them had thought was like, oh, it wouldn't be these dishes right now. It would be a lot of processed food, they said, and a lot of fast food and convenience food. So it's just a way for them to begin to think about, how do we get what these dishes say about connecting to the land? How do we extract those values and beliefs and norms and really take that forward as we think about what can our food systems look like into the future? Yeah, I mean, some of the challenges, of course, relate to accessibility and convenience and price. But let's not forget that people value pleasure, they value variety, and a lot of local food systems can access that through the biodiversity that they have. If we begin to highlight the diversity of foods that have been available and are still available, these foods haven't disappeared, they're still around. So how do we generate an interest from consumers to value those foods and incorporate them into their cuisine?